India, and also the institutions both are very essential and very important for the administration of India. So the two institutions were, one is Election Commission of India, another one is Finance Commission. So both are very important for a democratic country like India. So when we adopted this type of democracy, so we have created a unique and lengthiest constitution for the India for the better administration. So in part of this constitution making, we are also established these two institutions, which is constitutional and autonomous bodies for the administration in India. So these two institutions are works for the better democratic way in India. So we have first one is Election Commission of India. Okay, fine. So here we have syllabus about Election Commission of India and also Finance Commission of India. So both are clearly mentioned in our constitution for the better administration purpose. So here we have to know about the importance and their functions of these two important constitutional institutions which are placed in Constitution of India. So our constitution is especially made and also borrowed many better things from the other constitutions across the world and placed in our constitutions. That's what our constitution become a very lengthiest and written constitution in the world. So here the Election Commission of India is a permanent and autonomous, and also it will call it as a quasi judicial and constitutional body created under Article 324 of the Part 15 of the Constitution of India. So here this Constitution of India mentioned many constitutional and statutory institutions which are working for the better administration in India. So this Election Commission of India is also one of the most prominent institution for the peaceful democratic maintenance in our India. So it is the supreme body and also vested with powers of supervision and control and direction overall aspects of electoral governance in the country. So this Election Commission of India was established in 1950 with the primary goal of managing and controlling and responsible for controlling, conducting free and fair elections of Parliament, state legislature. Parliament means both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and state legislature means both Assembly and Council, and also the office of the President of India and the office of the Vice President of India. So the Election Commission of India is started functioning from the 1950. So the first general elections were held in India between 1951 October 25 to 21st February 1952. So they were the first elections ever in India after the establishment of this Election Commission of India. So it was conducted under the provisions of the Indian Constitution, so which was adopted on 26th November 1949. The Election Commission of India established under the Article 324 of the Constitution of India. So till 1989, the Election Commission was a single member body consisting of only one chief election commissioner, when two more election commissions were appointed functioning as a multi-member body. So present there are three election commissioners are there in Election Commission of India, including Chief Election Commissioner. So one Chief Election Commissioner and two other election commissioners were appointed and functioning as a multi-member body present time. So the commission is assisted by a deputy election commissioner. So additional commissioners called as deputy election commissioners, and also at the state level assisted by state chief electoral officer CEO. So appointed by the commission with tenure system. So if we see the composition of Election Commission of India, the election commission shall consist of the chief election commissioner and other election commissioners. So the number is to be decided by the President of India from time to time. So according to Article 324, a chief election commissioner and other election commissioners are there in this Election Commission of India. So in case, is there any chances to appoint regional commissioners, it will be under the hands of President of India. So in case there is a need for the establishment of additional commissioners, the president may take a final decision to appoint or to do not appoint. So the conditions of service and tenure of office of the election commissioners and regional commissions shall be determined by the President of India. So if we see the appointment of these election commissioners to the Election Commission of India, the Constitution does not provide any educational, legal, administrative, or judicial qualification for the appointment of members of Election Commission. It has authorized the Parliament to make laws for the appointment of members of the Election Commission. So the Parliament, however, has not enacted any law in this regard. Recently, in July 2017, the Supreme Court hearing a plea seeking constitution of a committee composed of the Prime Minister, leader of the opposition party, and the Chief Justice of India for appointment of election commissioner expressed concerns over the absence of a law on the appointment of Election Commission of India and Chief Election Commissioner. So even the apex court asked the government to formalize a law for the appointment of members of the Election Commission. So if we see at the present structure of this Election Commission of India, and also there are several terms are there. So the Election Commission consists of presently one Chief Election Commissioner and two election commissioners. Both these three election commissioners are purely appointed by the President of India. So their tenure is 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. So in case if they appointed in at the age of 60 or 62, they must be resigned at the age of their tenure will be ended with age of 65 years. So whichever is earlier. So the Constitution does not prescribe norms or terms of members of the Election Commission of India. So the Chief Election Commissioner and also other election commissioners, two election commissioners are there now. So these three election commissioners have equal powers and receive equal salaries, allowances, and other perks similar to those of a judge of a Supreme Court. So these allowances and salaries and other emoluments are exactly similar to the Supreme Court judge. So the secretariat of the commission is located in New Delhi. It will call it as Nirvachan Sadan. So their removal system also, it's like a judge of Supreme Court. So here the Constitution of India provides that the Chief Election Commissioner cannot be removed from his office except in the like manner and grounds as a judge of Supreme Court of India. So removed by the President based on a resolution to that effect passed by a special majority of both the houses of Parliament. So Other election commissioners or regional election commissioners can be removed from the office only on the recommendation of Chief Election Commissioner. So here we have to remind that the removal requires a special majority of two-thirds members present and voting supported by more than 50% of the total strength of the house. So that will call it as special majority. So here we have in our textbook, they have mentioned the appointment tenure of commissioners, powers and functions, autonomy of the election commission, budget expenditure and electoral reforms. So these are the syllabus of our course. So here so this election commission of India. So this election commission of India purely maintain their functions and their active roles as mentioned in the Constitution of India to conduct fair and peaceful elections in India from the time to time. So the Election Commission of India conducts elections for every 5 years for the both parliament and state legislatures in the country. So if we see the administrative functions of the election commission of India, so the primary duty of this election commission of India is to determine territorial areas of electoral constituencies based on the delimitation commission act. So first primary duty of election commission of India is to determine territorial areas, which means the length and the limits of a constituency, even which is whether it is for the assembly or for the parliament. So and also it prepares and revise electoral rolls and to register all eligible voters. So it grants recognition to political parties and allot election symbols to them. So you may know every 18 years field aged candidates must register for these adult franchise vote system. So the election commission of India also grants recognition to the political parties, as we discussed in our first chapter, the in the political parties. So it recognizes for the political party, and even it will decide whether it is a state party or regional party or whether it is a national party. And also the election commission of India notify the dates and the schedule of the elections and the scrutinize nomination papers, and also supervise machinery of elections throughout the country to ensure free and fair elections. So even it determines the code of conduct and cancels polls in the event of both capturing and other irregularities like rigging or some other illegal activities. So this is the primary administrative functions of the Election Commission of India. So it acts as a quasi judicial function too. So the Election Commission of India has the power to settle disputes related to recognition granted to the political parties, and also it is entitled to act as a court of for matters relating to the disputes arising out of the election symbol to the political parties. And also it has the power to disqualify a contender who failed to lodge an account of his election expenses within a given time. So it advises the president and the governor on matters relating to disqualification of a member of parliament and the state legislature. So the opinion of the commission in all such matters is binding. So to advise the president whether the election can be held in a state under the president's rule, to extend the period of emergency after 1 year. So, if we see the significance of the Election Commission of India, it upholds values enshrined in the Constitution like equality, impartiality, equity, and also it supervises and controls electoral governance. So, there are several challenges also there during the elections and post elections also there are several challenges will be there. So so to assist these election commission of India, in our states there is a state election commission. So the state election commission not concerned with the elections to the um, with the elections to the panchayats and municipalities in the states. For this, the Constitution of India provides for a separate state election. So, the Central Election Commission of India. So, the Election Commission is not concerned for these local body elections, which are mentioned in um, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts, like panchayats, municipalities, other local body elections. So, for this, the Constitution of India provides a separate state election commission. So, the Constitution of India vests in the state election commission, consisting of a state election commissioner, the superintendence, direction, and control of the preparation of electoral rolls for and the conduct of all elections to the panchayats and the municipalities, which are placed in the articles 243K to 243 Z subclass A. So the state election commissioner is appointed by the governor. So here the both election commission of India and state election commissions are mentioned in our constitution, and both are working according to the constitution of India. So if we see the importance of this election commission of India, the election commission of India has been successfully conducting national as well as state elections since 1952, from the first elections to from the recent elections. In the recent years, however, the commission has started to play a more active role to ensure greater participation in the elections by the people. So the commission had gone to the extent and disciplining the political parties with a threat of de-recognizing if the parties failed in maintaining inner party democracy. So it upholds the values enshrined in the constitution, and also it conducts elections with highest standard of credibility and freeness, fairness, transparency, integrity, accountability, autonomy, and professionalism. So it ensures participation of all eligible citizens in the electoral process is an inclusive, voter-centric, and voter-friendly environment. So even it engages with political parties and all stakeholders in the interest of the electoral process. So even the Election Commission of India creates awareness about the electoral process and electoral governance amongst the stakeholders, namely voters, political parties, election functionaries, candidates, and people at large. So, and to enhance and strengthen confidence and trust in the election system in the country. So, there are several challenges also there. Over the years, influence of the money and criminal elements in politics has increased, along with violence and electoral malpractices, resulting in criminalization of politics. So, the Election Commission of India has unable to arrest this system. So, there has been rampant abuse of power by the state government, who at times make large scale transfers on the eve of elections and post available officials in key positions. So, using official vehicles and buildings for electioneering, floating the Election Commission of India's model code of conduct. So the Election Commission of India is not adequately equipped to regulate the political parties. So the Election Commission of India has no power in enforcing inner party democracy and regulation of party finances. So in the recent years, an impression is gaining around the Election Commission is becoming less and less independent of executive, which has impacted the image of the Constitution of India. So one of the major institutional drawback is non-transparency in election of CEC and other two commissioners, and is based on the choice of presiding government. So there have been allegations of EVMs also malfunctioning, getting hacked, and not registering votes, which corrodes general masses trust from the institution. So if we see the Chief Election Commissioner and the powers and functions of the Election Commission of India. So primarily it is established for the purpose of to maintain and conduct free and fairful elections for the both levels of the government. So that is the primary duty of the Election Commission of India. So so even as we discussed, the Election Commission of India will decide the grade or the grade system of this political party. So which it is whether it is belongs to a national party or state party. As we discussed in our first chapter, the national party, which means at least 6% of valid votes polled in any four or more states at, at a general election, or if it wins 2% of seats in the Lok Sabha at the general elections, and these candidates are elected from the three states. So if it is recognized as a state party in four states, that will called it as national party. If a party declared as a state party, that party must qualify minimum condition of 6% of the valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the legislative assembly of the state concerned. So here we have to remember that the Election Commission of India declares these percentage of votes in only in general elections, not in by-election or other by-polls. So the Election Commission of India clearly mentioned this. So if the party gain these minimum eligibility in by-elections, that will not be concluded as the minimum eligibility condition for the recognition as a state party or national party. So we must remember that the Constitution of India is created this national institution, and to assist this Election Commission of India, there is also State Election Commission. So according to the Article 324 of the Constitution, the Election Commission of India acts as an independent institution for the safe and free elections entire the India. So here the model code of conduct is also important. This is clearly issued by the Election Commission of India. This model code of conduct is a set of guidelines meant for political parties, candidates, and governments to adhere to during an election. So this code is based on consensus among political. Its origin can be tracked to a code of conduct for political parties prepared by the first time in Kerala government in 1960 for the assembly elections. So we have to remember that the importance and the independence of the Election Commission of India preserved by clauses in the Constitution of India that say the Chief Election Commissioner cannot be removed from the office except in the manner provided for the removal of a Supreme Court judge. and also the conditions of his service cannot be varied to the incumbent's disadvantage after appointment. So there are several challenges also there for the time to time. There are many reforms also maintained and introduced by the Election Commission of India. So if we see the present situation, the constitution has not prescribed any method about this system of this election commission of India's selection of the election commission of India. So the many challenges also faced by the election commission of India from the starting period, which means after the establishment of election commission of India in 1950. From 1952 at present time, there are several challenges are faced by the election commission of India. So appointment issues also there, security of tenure also there, even about these election commissioners, and also the uh, all the provisions, even all the provisions mentioned in constitution, the election commission of India uh, misused by the ruling government, so at many times. So there are several Supreme Court judgments also there about the functions and the election of these constitution election commissioners. So many challenges and many reforms also happened after the establishment of this election commission. So if we see the recent electoral reforms are, there is electronic voting machines, EVM machines are established in recent times in 1989. The a provision was made to facilitate the use of EVMs. So the EVMs were used for the first time in 1998 on experimental basis in selected constituencies in the elections to the assemblies of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Delhi. So the EVM were used for the first time in general elections, entire state to the assembly of Goa in 1999. So and also there is a recent reform also there, that is electors photo identity card, which means we will call it as epic card. The use of electors photo identity cards by the election commission is surely making the electoral process simple, smoother, and quicker. So a decision was taken by the election commission in 1993 to issue photo identity cards to the electors throughout the country to check bogus voting and impersonation of electors at elections. So the electoral roll is the basis for issue of epics to the registered electors, and also there are declaration of criminal attendance and assets, etc., by the candidates, and the introduction of nota option. This is the recent reform made by the Election Commission of India. So, according to the Constitution, according to the directions of Supreme Court, the Election Commission made provision in the ballot papers or EVMs for none of the above option, so that the voters who come to the polling booth and decide not to vote for any of the candidates in the fray or in the list are able to exercise their right not to vote for such candidates while maintaining the secrecy of their ballot. So the provision for nota has been made since general elections to state legislative assemblies in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, and Delhi, Rajasthan in 2013, and continued in the general elections in state legislative assembly of Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Odisha, Sikkim in 2014, along with the general elections to the 16th Lok Sabha. So introduction of Vvpat also one of the recent reform which maintained by the introduced by the Election Commission of India. Vvpat mean voter verifiable paper audit trail. So it is an independent system attached with the EVMs that allows the voters to verify that their votes are cast is intended or not. So when a vote is cast, a slip is printed and remains exposed through a transparent window for 7 seconds, showing the serial number, name, and symbol of the candidate. So thereafter, the receipt automatically gets cut and falls into the sealed drop box of Vvpat. So the system allows a voter to challenge his vote on the basis of the paper receipt. So Vvpats were first used in by-elections of the Noxon Assembly constituency of Nagaland held in 2013. Thereafter, Vvpats have been used in selected constituencies during every general elections. So after that, Vvpats were used in 8 selected parliamentary constituencies in the country in the 2014. Now, at present, all the EVMs are using these Vvpats for the elections entire the India. These all are the recent electoral reforms. So this is the syllabus of our concept Election Commission of India. We have one more concept, that is one of the important institution which is run by the union government, and also it is enables the government for the better economic administration and entire economy. So that is Finance Commission of India, which is uh, mentioned in the Constitution of India under the Article 280. So the Finance Commission also is a constitutional body and constitutional authority that sets the mechanism and formula for allocating tax revenues between the center and states. So as well as among states. So in accordance with the constitution and current needs. So according to the Constitution of India, for every 5 years, the Constitution of according to the Constitution of India, the Election Commission of India will be elected by the President of India. So for every 5 years tenure, the Finance Commission is appointed by the President of India. So the President of India is mandated by the Article 280 of the Constitution of India to appoint a Finance Commission for every 5 years or sooner. So in November 2017, the President of India appointed the 15th Finance Commission under the chairmanship of N.K. Singh. It will make suggestions for 5 year period from 2021-22 to 25-26. So the basic historical background of this Finance Commission is the basic draft of the provisions of the Finance Commission of India was made in the early 1920s to consolidate the business dominance of the British rule in India. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the then law minister, established the first Finance Commission under the chairmanship of K.C. Niyogi in 1952 to rectify these inequalities. So it was established based on the drafted acts and rules. So several measures in the Indian Constitution were previously incorporated to bridge the fiscal divide between the center and the states. So including Article 268, which allows the center to impose duties but empowers the states to collect and retain them. So the Finance Commission is a constitutional body. President, after 2 years of the commencement of Indian Constitution and thereafter every 5 years has to constitute a Finance Commission of India. So if we see, the role of this Finance Commission is to give its recommendations to the on the issues of distribution of tax revenues between the union and state governments and amongst the states themselves too. So the two distinctive features of the commission's work is redressing the vertical imbalances between taxation powers and expenditure responsibilities, and also equalization of all public services across the states. So the Finance Commission is constituted under the Article 280 of the Constitution of India. Even Article 281 of the Indian Constitution related to the recommendation of the Finance Commission. So if we see the the commission structure, the parliament may by the law determine the qualifications which shall be requisite for appointment of members of this finance commission. So so there are five members in this commission. So one is chairman, and other four members of the commission should be selected and appointed from the different categories. One is a person as a judge of high court, or one who is qualified to be appointed as a judge, and second person who has specialized knowledge for finance and accounts of the government, and the third one is a person who has wide experience in financial matters and in administration, and fourth one a person where specialized knowledge of economics. So including chairman, there are five members are there in this finance commission. So the qualification of the members of this financial commission is mentioned according to the constitution, and they may change by the Parliament of India. So if we see the salaries and allowances of the members of the commission shall provide full-time service to the commission as the president specifies in his order. So the members shall be paid salaries and allowances as per the provisions made by the central government. So the term or the tenure of office of the members, every member will be in office for the time period as specified in the order of the president. They are eligible for reappointment. So the chairman of the commission is selected among persons who have experience in public affairs, and four other members are selected from different categories as we mentioned. So there are some disqualification if there is happened. The members or chairman will be removed by the president of India. So the members may be disqualified if they are found to be of unsound mind, have committed a heinous act, or have a conflict of interest. So the president of India specifies the term of office of members of the finance commission. So they are normally appointed for the period of 5 years, and in some situations the members are reappointed too. So the members must contribute full time or part time of volunteer service to the commission as the president directs. So before the 5 years period expires, the president can appoint a finance commission if he deems it essential. So if we see the major functions of this finance commission is, it is the duty of the commission to make recommendations to the president as to the distribution between the union and state government of the net proceeds of taxes which are to be or may be divided between them, and the allocation between the states of the respective shares of such proceeds. So the principles which should govern the grants in aid of the revenues of the states out of the consolidated fund of India, and also the finance commission, the measures needed to augment the consolidated fund of a state to supplement the resources of the panchayat in the state on the basis of the recommendation made by the finance commission of these states. So the measures needed to regarding even municipalities too. Any other matters refers by the commission by the president in the interest of sound finance. So the commission determines its procedure and has such powers in the performance of their functions as parliament may be law confer on them. So every finance commission will be give some important recommendations to the president regarding this financial institution. So the Finance Commission submits its report to the President. The report of the Finance Commission is then led by the President before each the House of Parliament for its consideration. So the recommendations of the Finance Commission are implemented as under these to be implemented by order of the President. The recommendations relating to distribution of union taxes and duties and grants in aid fall in this category. So those to be implemented by executive orders, the recommendations in respect of sharing of profit, petroleum, debt relief, mode of central assistance, etc. Even the recommendations made by the Financial Commission are of an advisory nature only and therefore not binding upon the government. So it's up to the government to implement its recommendations on granting money to the states. So the role of Finance Commission had been subordinated with the establishment of Planning Commission. For Planning Commission, apart from planning the development layouts of the country, has taken the role of financial allocation to the states. So the to correct this anomaly, the Union Cabinet institutionalized Niti Aayog, replacing the Planning Commission of India. So the setting down the Planning Commission, the greater acceptance of recommendation of 15th Finance Commission to devolve 41% of the taxes to the states is a positive move towards the decentralization of the finance commission. So So the primary functions of this finance commission is the distribution between the taxes and profits and income of income from the revenue sources. So the constitutional distribution will be happened by this election commission of India. So the principles which should govern the grants in aid of the revenue and also these taxes, the equal sharing among the states also. So the Finance Commission will be do its functions according to the Constitution of India. So if we see the present 15th Finance Commission recommendations, the Finance Commission is uh, uh, recently in 2017 under the chairmanship of N.K. Singh. It has constituted by the President of India. So the terms of references of Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission, if we see the recommendations of this 15th Finance Commission, one is the distribution between the union and states of the net proceeds of taxes, which are to be divided between them, and also the allocation between the states of the respective shares of such proceeds, and also the measures needed to augment the consolidated fund of a state to supplement resources of the both panchayats and municipalities in the state based on the recommendations made by the Finance Commission of India. So these Finance Commission of India shall review the current fiscal status of the union and the states and recommend a fiscal consolidation roadmap to the both governments. So the commission may also examine whether revenue deficit grants to be so the This finance commission may consider proposing performance-based incentives to the states based on efforts made in expansion and deepening of tax net under GST, efforts and progress made in moving towards the replacement rates of population growth, and achievements in the implementation of flagship schemes of Government of India, disaster resilient infrastructure, and the sustainable development goals, and progress made in increasing capital expenditure, eliminating losses of the power sector, and improving the quality of such expenditure is generating future income streams, and also progress made in increasing tax and non-tax revenues, and also promoting savings by adoption of direct benefit transfers and public finance management system PFMS. So, and also promoting digital economy and removing layers between the government and the beneficiaries, and also progress made in promoting ease of doing business and promoting labor intensive growth, and also a provision of grants in aid to local bodies for basic services, and implementation of performance grant system in improving the delivery of services, and also control or lack of it in incurring expenditure on populist measures, and also progress made in sanitation, solid waste management, and bringing in a behavioral change to end open defecation. So the commission shall use the population data of 2011 while making its recommendations. So the commission may review the present arrangements on financing disaster management initiatives regarding the funds constituted under the Disaster Management Act 2005. So there are controversies also there associated with this 15th Finance Commission. So the terms of reference of the 15th Commission opposed by some states. So many challenges are also facing this Financial Commission. So the major recommendation of the present 15th Finance Commission is vertical devolution, which means 41% of divisible pool to be devolved in the states in the year 2021. So the 15th Financial Commission, which had recommended 42%, had a view that tax devolution should be in the primary route of transfer of resources to the states, as they are more objective from for transfer of resources as compared to other forms. So even the 15th Finance Commission also agrees with this view, but reduced the state share to 41% because of the reorganization of the state of Jammu and Kashmir into union territories of Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir through the Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019. So there is horizontal devolution done primarily to enable the states provide basic public goods and services with equivalent tax effort. So the various criteria to be considered for horizontal devolution are classified into three broad groups. One is need-based criteria, which is focused on population, area, and ecology. And second one is equity-based criteria, that is based on income distances forms from equity-based criteria. And the third one is performance-based criteria. Demographic performance and tax effort are part of the performance-based criteria that is framed to reward and incentivize states to perform better in terms of utilization of resources available to them. So there are several grants in aid. Also there, 14 states are estimated to face a revenue deficit post devolution. So the commission has recommended revenue deficit grants worth 74,000 crore to these 14 states. So even these commission also empowering local bodies according to the Constitution of India to recommend grants to the all tiers of the Panchayat Raj institutions to enable pooling of resources to create durable community assets and improve their functional viability, and also to give funds are grants to the fifth and sixth schedule areas and cantonment boards, and also to provide a tied grants in the critical sectors of sanitation and drinking water to ensure additional funds to the local body institutions over and above the funds allocated for this purpose under the centrally sponsored schemes like Swachh Bharat and Jal Jeevan missions. So, to account for increasing urbanization, the share of urban local bodies in finance commission grants to local bodies should be gradually increased to the 40% over the medium term. So, since larger cities will tend to grow faster with the agglomerating effect, the 50 million plus cities in the country need differentiated treatment with special emphasis on meeting the challenges of bad ambient of air quality, groundwater depletion, and sanitation. So, the Commission has recommended a total of 90,000 crore grants to the local bodies in 2021. So, even also to promote local level mitigation activities, mitigation funds shall be set up by both national and state levels in the form of National Disaster Management Act. So the Commission recommended the creation of funds to disaster mitigation along with disaster response, which will now together be called as National Disaster Risk Management Fund. So the recommended grants for the state disaster risk management fund is 28,000 crore rupees. So several challenges have emerged since these recommendations were made by the 15th Finance Commission in the form of the global economic slowdown, lower tax revenue realization, and above all, the enormous disruption to the economy created by the coronavirus pandemic in recent times. So, this will necessitate several additional demands for allocations to be made in coming years. Further several policy issues like streamlining GST, direct tax code, improving expenditure outcomes, etc., will need special focus from the government to achieve the noble objectives set before the Finance Commission. So, uh, so from the establishment of the Finance Commission, first Finance Commission to the last at present 15th Finance Commission also recommended the union government on the specific matters relating to the financial allocation and income allocation between the union and uh, state governments. So, a setting up of a state finance commission is also in part of this finance commission. So, the state finance commission has been established in the various states of India so that they can help in improving financial condition of various local bodies in India. So, like Panchayat Raj institutions or municipal bodies that are there in the states. So the setting up of State Finance Commission is under Article 243. According to this article, the governor of the state shall set up Finance Commission with the period of 1 year that begins with the 73rd Amendment Act of the Indian Constitution 1992. After that, the end of every 5 years, the finance commissions in the states usually comprises the chairman and member secretary and other members. So, the primary functions of the state finance commission is to review the economic condition of the various panchayat raj institutions and municipal bodies that are there in the state. So, to take such steps in the help in boosting the financial condition of the various municipal bodies and panchayat raj institutions in the state, and also to allot funds of the various panchayat raj institutions and municipal bodies in the state from the consolidated fund of India. So to act as an arbiter between the central and state governments with regard to issues that are of financial nature. So to transfer funds that are granted by the central government to the state government, to distribute between the various municipal bodies and panchayat raj institutions, that are there within the state, and the state government, the total proceeds of taxes, fees, tolls, and duties that are charged by the state government. So to determine the taxes, tolls, duties, and fees that may be levied by the various Panchayat Raj institutions and municipal bodies that are there within the state. So, the sectors receiving grants from the State Finance Commission, the various sectors are receiving grants from the State Finance Commission, administration of prisons, healthcare services, public libraries, administration of districts, administration of police, elementary education, fire service, infrastructure development, training in computer for school children, fiscal administration, heritage protection. So the state governments must promote state finance commissions because this will help in improving the economic condition of the states by bringing in more funds from the center to the states, and also it will help in improving the financial condition of the various Panchayat Raj institutions and municipal bodies that are there in the states. So all these will help in all round development of the states. So the finance commission and the state finance commission both are especially created for the purpose of this fair economic relations between the both union and state governments. So even the tax system, the tax clashes between the union of government will be uh, ratified by the both commissions. So if there are clashes between the governments, these uh, 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 constitutional institutions may resolve the issues from time to time. So every finance commission will recommend for the upcoming years for the financial issues. So to review the economic condition of the both union and state governments, this financial commission is established for the purpose of this issue. So finance commission of India. So present finance commission of India, present chairman is N.K. Singh. So N.K. Singh as chairman, he is from former member of parliament and former secretary to the government of India. And other four members are, one is Ajay Narayan Jha, Dr. Anup Singh, Dr. Ashok Lahiri, Dr. Ramesh Chand are other members. So among this, the Ramesh Chand is a part-time member, and also he is member of Niti Aayog. So this is the present Finance Commission of India, ECI. If we see the present Election Commission of India, the Rajiv Kumar is the present Chief Election Commissioner of India since 15th May 2022. So the Election Commission of India's office, we will call it as Nirvachan Sadan, which is located in New Delhi. So Sushil Chandra as additional election commissioner. So Nirvachan Sadan is the official office for the Election Commission of India. This may be called in your objective. So for the examination information and other related to the information, please visit our university website for the updates. So dates are not in our hands. So I will give you important questions in last class. So don't worry about that. Even I will try to send previous exam paper to you. Just read your textbook. Even every objective type questions also will come from your textbook only, not in private books or test papers. Try to understand the concepts in your textbook, not to read for the purpose of examination. So this paper will be useful for every competitive exam conducted by the governments or other banking sector or other recruiting agencies. So Indian government and politics is essential for competitive exams. In every competitive exams, there will be the general awareness concept is there. So in that, the Indian government and politics or Indian polity will be asked. What happened last time? Only read same link. I will share you important questions and previous examination paper. Don't bother about that. Okay. Thank you for your participation. Thank you. Thank you all. I am concluding the session.
Thank you, sir.